We saw a horror film this week. I think if you were listening to our last podcast, we told you we were going to a secret screening or screaming,
Yeah.
secret screaming. And the film
was what we expected.
I was annoyed you got it right.
Cuckoo.
We watched Cuckoo.
Now, I only had seen one trailer one time at the cinema of this film, so I was kind of going into it blind.
But we really wanted to see it based on that one trailer as well.
Yeah, that trailer was very effective.
It looked really weird. I'm just going to get up the details for Cuckoo for those of you that don't know. This is a new kind of horror thriller.
Psychological.
They're calling it a body horror, but in the trailer, but I wouldn't consider it a body horror.
I would call it psychological, but the synopsis of the movie is a 17-year-old girl is forced to move with her family to a resort where things are not what they seem.
Sounds
very vague.
Similar to any horror film.
It just sounds very vague, doesn't it?
Yeah, anything with a final girl and then they go somewhere weird.
Yeah. I mean, the main actress, Hunter Schafer,
she's pretty big at the moment. I think she's out of Euphoria, and
I haven't seen that show.
I have watched a little bit of it, but almost the entirety of that cast have become quite big, massive superstars, haven't they?
Yeah.
Zendaya, Jacob Elordi.
Yeah. Arguably, Zendaya was big before that show.
Yeah,
but
Sydney Sweeney as well.
Yeah.
So they're all kind of getting big off of that.
Yeah.
But
what did you think of Cuckoo then? Give me, because I've posted a letterbox review and I gave it 2.5 stars out of 5.
I saw that you posted that, and when you did that, I was like, "Whoa, that's lower than I thought you were gonna." I thought you'd give it like 3.5.
I thought giving it 3 was a bit too much. I think dead in the middle, bang average. Look, 2.5 stars.
I came out of the film when we both came out of the film. We were like, we didn't know what to say about it, did we? Because it's so.
Now, do we want to give spoilers? Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, we'll
try and be vague.
We'll try and be vague,
but we'll announce
if we do spoilers, we'll say. But I thought she was good and interesting as the protagonist.
Yeah, I thought she was really good at it.
Yeah, she was playing like a 17-year-old, obviously. I think she's only about 3 years younger than us, but she played that role quite well as this torn kind of daughter between her father and her mother previously,
and her father's new partner and her
new
stepsister,
kind of stepsister or half sister, whatever.
Yeah.
But the concept of the film is really weird. So the name Cuckoo stems from the animal cuckoo, the cuckoo, the bird, where it enters a nest, lays its eggs. And I think the other bird kind of raises the eggs or looks after the eggs until they hatch, and then I think
it's basically an infestation, isn't it?
Kicked out of the nest, or maybe the cuckoo comes back and kicks the other birds out.
It's like a parasite.
But this is the same thing as Longlegs, and I don't think this is probably not a spoiler, semi spoiler, but it is. No, it's not supernatural, is it? I was going to say it's
not supernatural. No,
it's kind of natural.
Yeah. If anything, it's like it's the complete opposite.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert!
It's about creatures that exist, but we don't necessarily know. They're like endangered creatures that look like people, but they're uncanny in that they
can't talk. They
scream,
and they also
absolutely scream.
And they also have this power, and this is probably where the paranormal element probably creeps into your mind.
Yeah,
they have this almost ability to paralyze people, but in a deja vu.
It's like you're reliving the moment, but you're actually paralyzed, and that's when they come up and kind of kill you. And they kill. Is there any mothers? They're only female, I think.
Yeah,
they kill like the family, so they can supplant or they kill and breed basically with the family so they can supplant their child there.
It's so weird. I mean,
it is really weird, but actually I felt like it was good. The first part of the film, I feel like I say this all the time about horror films.
Yeah.
The first part of the film I really liked. I thought it was atmospheric. I thought it was uncanny and strange and weird. But then, by the way, Dan Stevens is in this, who's like a pretty good character.
I really liked him.
He's a pretty good character actor, and he has a insanely nuts kind of Austrian German accent.
Yeah,
and he plays a really, really weird, uncanny, unsettling character. And I thought it was really good. But the second part of this film, it just goes off the rails, man. Off the rails as in mad. It's nuts. It's
it goes
weird.
cuckoo.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I have, after having pondered on the film a little bit, if I'm honest, when I think about this movie, I actually think about the ending more so than the beginning. The beginning actually fades into being generic. So I actually, on reflection, I actually prefer the latter half of this film.
But it's not the
to
very
the first
it's
half.
not the very beginning I'm on about. It's the bit where they're at the hotel and she doesn't know what's happening. She doesn't know it's just strange and unsettling. She gets attacked, and then it's again strange and unsettling when she's in the hospital. When they're there's another character that she works with at the hotel.
Yeah.
And when they're in the kind of bungalow. And
Yeah.
it's very unsettling there. I won't say exactly what happens for everyone.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
I've spoiled a bit already, but it is unsettling. It is strange. It is weird, and I quite liked that. But then it becomes kind of style over substance, I think. Style with like music choice, with the woman that comes in that's like French and tries to take her to France.
Yeah.
And they're listening to music in the car. And then with like the shootout at the end with this other kind of Austrian policeman that comes into it as a character whose who's trying to get revenge basically and kill these creatures. And it also becomes like a bit of a conspiracy as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's I said in my review that I really liked its ambition and how different it tried to be in its ending. I think the film would have worked better if it lent into that more during the first half as well.
But how would you get that?
How?
How would you get that quirky kind of energy and atmosphere
That's the
that comes
question.
into it at the end?
Yeah, that's the
beginning?
question. I think, yeah, it's just a very peculiar concept.
It just comes out of nowhere, isn't it? So
The monsters aren't that scary
No,
either.
not at all,
So
not at all.
I just think it's not an effective horror movie.
It's the same old trope. It's like Barbarian, isn't it?
When you see
as
it-
soon as you see him. And actually, there's a really weird character design, isn't there?
Yeah.
That doesn't fit or go.
It's just different. It's just different.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it before, and I applaud the film for doing that, because I do like seeing stuff, things that are different. But as a horror movie, I just don't think it's as good of an impact. It's just not. I don't know. It's so uncanny that it's just doesn't work.
It does have character to it though, and I can see it getting quite a big following, like Longlegs. Actually, I can see it becoming bigger.
A cult classic almost in a way.
Yeah. But this, I just love horror fans are just eating good all the time at the moment.
They are. We've got too much choice, and I think we are ungrateful in a way.
There's
because we always complain about
Yeah.
getting sequels, and we want original stuff, and we're getting original stuff at the moment with Longlegs, with Cuckoo, and we're not satisfied for some reason.
No, there's a lot of films coming out as well at the moment that seem to be people going to places and weird things, uncanny vibes, or weird things are happening. There's one coming out with Channing Tatum, isn't there, where he's on the island?
What's it called? Let me talk or something like that.
No. You're thinking of this one with James McAvoy coming out called Speak No Evil.
Yeah.
And then Channing Tatum's also got one out, and it reminded me. Blink Twice.
Blink Twice.
But this film reminded me of The Shining a little bit because of, not in terms of caliber or plot necessarily, but like the isolated hotel setting.
Yeah.
And the weird
in the
things,
mountains.
and the weird things that are happening.
I thought the best thing about the movie is Hunter Schafer. I thought her character, she was a very reserved person. She likes to keep a distance away from her father and her father's second family and her stepsister. However, she goes through an arc in this story which I really appreciate, and the amount of emotional depth that you get with this character at the very end as well, and her relationship with a certain specific someone is very satisfying, and I appreciated that. That was the heart and soul of the movie. Everything else around it is kind of like wacky, and it's just a bit it's just weird.
It is. We came out of it saying that a Karen was the antagonist of the film.
That would be funny though, to actually create a horror movie where the cat Karen
and it's like people that work in a shop. You could actually see it. You can make it.
You could create an isolated story set in the grocery store with a Karen's trying to kill everyone.
Don't steal our idea, Hollywood.
Yeah, if you
heard it on the Cinema Wars podcast,
fund our project.
I could come up with a good kind of pun name as well. I'll come up with a name for it. There was a good trailer during this film. I've seen it twice now. That trailer for a film called The Substance. And it's like Demi Moore, and she takes something and it makes her look younger. That does look like a body horror. Yeah,
and it says in the trailer, new body horror, but it does look quirky, and I really like that trailer as well because it does not show you anything about the plot.
Yeah, but it's kind of similar.
But it makes you interested in watching it.
Kind of similar to Cuckoo trailer. The Cuckoo trailer was.
But with Cuckoo trailer, there's still like a.
Do you know what I was really annoyed about?
What?
The best kind of scare from this film
was in the trailer.
Was in the trailer.
Yeah,
and it was a great one. Like, why put
in the hallway?
Best shot
In the hallway?
No, not in the hallway.
In the on the bike. Yeah. No, I agree.
But also in the hallway, like all the big scares were in the trailer, weren't they?
Yeah, but even this trailer had like a plot thread. You could kind of follow like what the style of movie it's going for. But The Substance, it's just, flashes and highlights of something in completely obscure order. But it's effective enough for me to be like, I'm interested in seeing that.
It's got Dennis Quaid in it as well, and it's also an 18. This one was Cuckoo was only a 15, but I'm really interested in seeing that. Once again, though, the secret screeners are great, aren't they?
I love them. I'll probably try and go to every single one.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any secret screenings or screenings at your local cinema, we highly recommend going and just sticking through it, because you'll watch films that you never would have really gone to see. Like the last one we went to see was Kneecap, which we spoke about in our last podcast episode, and it was an Irish hip hop film,
but it was really good.
By the way, so someone I know is going to the Leeds Festival over the bank holiday weekend, and Kneecap are playing.
Yeah, it's there. That's your. Did you decide to go and see them?
Yeah. But they came to see the movie with us, didn't?
Oh yeah.
So going to see that.
That's really cool. I'm just looking at the guy who wrote and directed Cuckoo, because it was written and directed by the same guy.
He hasn't really done much else.
One other film, which was an hour and 10 minutes, called Luz.
Yeah, that's classed as a short film, then, isn't it?
Kind of.
Yeah.
B-movie. So it's for a first.
But
first film.
But despite my heavy criticism on the film, I did like lots of aspects, and I did like the originality of it, or what it tried to do.